All right, time to talk to Sonia Bryant Insurance. Today we're talking automobile insurance and some things that people need to be covered by that maybe they don't understand.
Yeah, Rick, a lot of people, when they buy insurance, they want what they refer to as liability only, which is, what the state requires you to have to operate a vehicle, which is liability. That's if you injure another person with your vehicle or if you damage property with your vehicle. There's two coverages that are very important that it's a law in the state of Texas that an agent offer these coverages. And if you don't want them, you have to sign to reject them. Now, after you sign the first time, you do not have to reject them you don't have to keep signing the form. So it's very possible that if you went and you bought insurance and you just got liability and you signed these rejections, a few years ago and you haven't thought about it since then, that you may not have these two coverages on your policy. So it's something that you need to check and decide if you want to have them and get a quote, because it's usually not very expensive. The first one is what we call PIP, which is personal injury protection. And it is, if you have an accident, and it does not matter if it's your fault or not, you, your family members, passengers in your car, regardless of who caused the accident, it will pay up to the limit, which is usually $2,500, and you can buy more than that, for medical bills, lost wages if you're out of work because of the accident, the legitimate expenses that you incur as a result of that accident. So that's the first one. It's very, very important. It's usually not very expensive. It's called personal injury protection, or PIP. And if you do not have it on your policy, you should get a quote, find out how much it costs, because it can really come in handy. I've seen several clients who have used this to pay, maybe they have a deductible on their health insurance. And so, different things. If they've had an accident and they're injured, there's just some costs there that there might not be coverage anywhere else. And it's a really nice coverage to have. And again, it's not just for you, it's for anybody in your family, anybody in your vehicle if you're injured in an auto accident. So that's the first one.
All right, the second thing that we a lot of times overlook when we buy insurance.
Okay, the second one, and again, this is one that you're required to be offered this, and then you have the choice to select it or reject it, is uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. Well, the first thing, people think is, why should I pay money when somebody else doesn't carry insurance? Because isn't it a law in Texas to have insurance? Well, it is a law in Texas to have insurance. However, there are still a lot of uninsured vehicles being driven. And so where this coverage comes into play is if you do have an accident and it is the other person's fault, but that person does not have any insurance, or maybe they don't have enough insurance. An example of that would be if this person just carries the state minimum, which is a very low amount of insurance, and it might not even be enough to fix your vehicle, let alone if there's people in you and people in your vehicle that are injured. So that's where that comes into play. Again, it's very inexpensive. You can buy the limits up to your liability limit that you carry, and it's just something to have just in case you do have an accident and the other person doesn't have insurance. It will take care up to your limit of fixing your vehicle, and more importantly, medical bills and that kind of things if anyone is hurt in that accident.
What about a couple other things I know a lot of people assume is immediately in their insurance policy that may not be, is rental cars. A lot of times people think whenever they buy insurance that rental car thing is immediately added to it. And what also about, let's say you buy a new car, you finance a new car, you have an accident, they total the car, and what the insurance will pay and what you have financed are two total different worlds.
Okay, those are good questions and two completely different types of coverage. The first one that you're asking about is rental reimbursement. It is not automatically included in your policy. It's an endorsement. There's a different school of thoughts. I personally don't usually carry it on my insurance because it doesn't pay a whole lot, and the premium to me versus what it pays. But, it's up to you. So it's something you need to ask your agent to quote so you'll know how much. It's not a whole lot of premium, but it's also not going to pay a whole lot. So it depends, if you have access to other vehicles in case you do have an accident and your vehicle is not usable, but you have access, you have an extra vehicle or, something like that, then you don't need that coverage. But that is rental reimbursement. It is definitely not automatically included. And along with that, you didn't ask about it, but towing is also not an automatic thing. If you want coverage for towing, then you need to ask your agent to quote that. The other thing that you talked about is what they call gap insurance. And that is very important, especially if you are in a situation where I think they call it you're upside down on your loan, where you owe more money on a vehicle than what the vehicle is worth. This actually happened to Rick and me one time, and it's not a good situation to be in. And some insurance companies offer gap insurance, but also probably the best place to get gap insurance is from the lender on your vehicle. That way there's no question. They're the ones that loaned you the money, so they know what you owe on it, and so there's not a question. But that's called gap insurance. And so again, you can get that usually from the major auto lenders offer that, and it doesn't add very much to your monthly payment, and I would certainly recommend it. Or you can ask your insurance agent, because there are some insurance companies that will include that on your auto policy.
So if you have any questions about your auto policy, what's in it, what's not in it, what the premiums are, what the limits are, things like that, you need to call an agent. You need to find out exactly what they are. Even if you don't have Bryan Insurance, you can still call and ask questions. So if they need to get a hold of you guys, how they do it?
We would love for you to give us a call. Our phone number is 940-549-2525. You can always come see us. We're on the second floor of the Sierra Bank building here in downtown Graham. Or you can visit us on the web at www.bryanins.com.
Call today or go by and see them today to get your insurance needs taken care of. We have more coming up here on the 8 o'clock hour. Stick around. Don't you go away.